Oh, welcome and thank you for joining me for this video. I would say for coffee time, but unfortunately did a silly thing and left my coffee behind, which I'm really sort of painful now because it's absolutely freezing. When I very first got here this morning at Lavell's, it was a real heavy frost. Fabulous for taking some video, but not so good for the birds. I'm going to be here for probably until about midday, and then it's on the way to where I shot the short-eared owls last week. So the weather doesn't appear to be as good as last week. Hopefully it's going to be reasonably bright, but I don't think we're going to get quite the golden light. So my plan is to try and get some slightly better footage than I did last week. And then possibly tomorrow I might have a look at going down to Farlington marshes. So yeah, the weather's going to be pretty much cold today and tomorrow, and then it's starting to get wet and slightly warmer again for Sunday. So let's see what comes. I haven't been down to Lavell's for quite some time. There's been some issues with flooding and access. Water levels have dropped, but it's still quite not the levels that you would normally find here. The bund is pretty much covered. This fox is quite a regular visitor here, and it must be fairly comfortable with the hide and the occupants within it. You can see him constantly checking and looking back over its shoulder, regularly scenting here. Doesn't look as if he's got any prey to be able to feed up on this cold morning, but it was something lovely to see. Once I arrived at the moor, the weather just seemed to break, and it looked as if I was going to have another glorious evening with some lovely light. My intention this week was to practice using the HD setting on my camera, which I can slow down sort of 4 times. But their behaviour was just utterly different. They spent a lot of time quite high up in the air doing some aerial combat, and then coming down and spending more time perched than they did last week. It's reputed that the owl can rotate its head sort of 360 degrees, but in reality it's more like 270. And the reason for that is, well, their eyesight is different than ours, where we have a sort of quite a wide angle of view. The owl has more of a tunnel vision. It's like looking through a telescope, and they don't have the ability to sort of rotate their eyes in the sockets as readily as we do. So therefore they need to be able to rotate their heads to seek out and find their prey. For you and me, if we tried to rotate our heads as far as they did, we'd either break our necks or stop the flow of blood to the brain. when they did come down to hunt, the slowed down footage of the HD I think was just slightly better aesthetic. The disadvantage is I can't get that reach that I can when I use 4K on my camera. So I've got two sort of options really. One is to either get an extender for the camera to try and get that same reach that I can do with 4K, or see if I can position myself a bit closer to the birds. I need to have a look at maybe taking some camouflage and see if I can find an acceptable position to seat myself. I did manage to get that hero shot again of them carrying a vole, but what I did manage to see was some quite spectacular fights in the air. So I'm assuming they must be pretty territorial. These little spats are where they're reaffirming their particular hunting area on the moor. So I just wanted to put a little update on the end of this video about my trip down to Farlington marshes. I'm really pleased, bit of success. Been trying for the bearded tits for over a year now, about 5 or 6 trips with no success. But today was the day, really pleased. Been looking through the video footage and it's going to be too much to put on the end of this video and it's going to take me some time to go through it all. So I think I'm going to put that up next week. Fortunately, which has been unusual for me, I've managed to take some photographs today. So what I will do is just put those photographs at the end of this video. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe. And well, I hope you join me what potentially could be a pretty good video next week on the bearded tits.